What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Redemption 46 Studios. I'm Nick.
Annyeong, Lonida.
I'm Keith.
I know the vibes. I've seen the thumbnail. From Nobodies to Legends, BTS, YouTube exclusive. If y'all haven't joined the Patreon, y'all probably should, because the guy that y'all what's the name of the other guy? The biggest guy and shit. I don't know why it's why it's lost me.
I know what you're talking about. The first one we did, right?
Yeah.
I can't even remember that shit. But
I can't remember the name of that guy. I'll insert it somewhere above my head.
It was like A Beautiful Life or something like that?
Yes, like A Beautiful Life update one, but this is essentially like Nobody's to Legends is the one that they did currently up to 2019, and the one we reacted to is kind of the updated version. But just wanted to give YouTube a treat, just because we'll be dropping like guides and doing some other stuff on here for people who can't afford the Patreon. If you can afford the Patreon, you definitely want to jump on there, because the Rise of Bang Tang is on there.
And you get way more content.
Run BTS stuff is up there. Live performances, dance practices, BTS content that is blocked on YouTube is also up there. So definitely want to jump on there. But without further ado, we can jump right into this. Thank you, Army.
Rewind selector.
이제 오늘로 16일이니까
와우.
5일째인데요. 저는 생초짜신입니다. 무슨 말이에요?
네, 감독님들이 정말 저희들이 이름을 모르시거든요. 신인이다 보니
이 이름표가 없이도 저희 이름을 정말 아셔서 저 얼굴만 보고도 누구신지 아실 수 있게 정말 그날까지 꼭 입어보도록 하겠습니다.
damn. Talk about a come up, bro.
I know them vibes.
정말 산 넘어 산이라는 말이 딱 맞는 게 정말 데뷔하면 모든 게 다 잘 되고 뭔가 괜찮을 것 같았는데 정말 또 더 큰 세상을 보니까 더 큰 고민을 하게 되고
Oh, wow.
We ain't never see those.
Yeah, that was like different. What the fuck RM do? Damn.
하루가 끝나기도 전에 비난이 몰려온다. 열심히 하는 것만으로는 아무것도 이룰 수 없을 것 같았다. 열정, 노력은 아무 힘이 없는 것 같았다.
One made some really regrettable remarks about BTS.
When I first heard something Korean had exploded in America, I got worried.
Wow.
I don't know. I think they look very nice.
That is not what you were saying during the break!
Oh shit.
How did this become a thing in Western culture where all these grown men and little girls are off to little K-pop boys?
Listen, the guys were snubbed. They've broken all these records. They've had an epic year. They should be in all the major categories. I don't like the fact that they've separated them.
Sorry to interrupt you, Denny, but that's it's crazy because they constantly outsell American counterparts.
Yeah.
They outperform them, but they're still not acknowledged in the way they should be.
They're really trying to maintain their identity, and there is a barrier there when it comes to the Korean language. Like, obviously, there's going to be some North American audiences that aren't going to have that on location, and it's still an issue with radio. That's the big thing. Like,
fans, I think they're like more enthusiastic than anyone.
Can you describe that enthusiasm?
they brought a boy band from Korea to Grammys.
My next guest can only be described as an international music phenomenon. They have made Time Magazine's most influential list. They're the first Korean act to reach #1 on the Billboard charts, and they just became the first group since the Beatles to earn 3 #1 albums in less than a year.
The 7-member boy band has broken the record for the best-selling album here in Korea. Now, this album, released this April, has sold 3.4 million copies as of May.
BTS had the #1 best-selling physical album in the United States in the first half of this year.
Becoming the first Korean artist to win 2 trophies at the Billboard Music Awards in Las Vegas on Wednesday. The awards were Top Social Artist and Top Duo Group.
BTS has been named the Group of the Year on Variety's Hitmakers list. BTS performed at the U.S.'s most watched New Year's concert, New Year's Rockin' Eve.
Their upcoming U.S. tour is one of the hottest tickets on earth. Even more remarkable, considering most of their songs are not in English.
They're headlining 2 sold-out nights at Wembley Stadium, performing for 60,000 screaming fans.
2 sold-out nights in Wembley.
That's right.
Niggas don't even sell it out.
Some people could sell out the tower.
처음에는 아티클 콘서트는 한 번이면 참여를 해봤어요. 술 2배에서 술 3배 정도 진행을 하게 되네요. 그냥 어떻게 보면 뭐 기적 같은 수치 아닐까.
An economic analysis showed that BTS's last concert in Seoul created nearly as much economic gains as the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics in early 2018.
It is estimated that roughly 100,000 foreigners came to Korea during that time. That number includes 23,000 foreign fans who came solely to see their
24% of ARMY were male, while a clear majority, 76%, were female. 24% were 10 to 19-year-olds, 26% were 20-year-olds, 19% were 30-year-olds, and hold on, this doesn't seem right. 27% were 40 to 49 years old.
Hi, I'm Sam and I'm...
You hear that, Jarek?
Hi, I'm Cheryl. I'm just over 50. I'm 56.
I'm 64.
I'm 33. I'm 36 years old. Almost 48 years old.
I'm 44 years old. I have 2 children.
BTS, like, telling everyone to love themselves, to, like, you know, be who you are, and right, and, you know, having a group of, like, musicians and, like, really talented people talking about, like, better yourself, love yourself, and, you know, become something good in life. It's actually good.
I love the band for their message. They're giving
he
people who are
hyping them up for a
misunderstood
minute.
the belief that what they're doing is right. I think that's very important. You should love yourself.
For a group that is such larger than life, that it can be so easy to like dehumanize them.
Yeah.
They really do a good job of keeping themselves like really like just natural and humble.
I've never seen a whole concert.
It's astonishing. I don't know how they do it. They are amazing performers.
And we load up and we had a blast. We got out of our seats, we got right down the pit and broke a sweat dance.
I forget who.
As a group,
BTS this my guy who
teamed
looks
up
like
with
he's
UNICEF
somebody's
and spoken
boyfriend.
in front of the UN about the
Did
importance
they just
of
show
self-love
what was
and
Chris
global
Rock partner on the new song?
We have learned to love ourselves.
So, I say
So
later.
now I urge you to speak yourself.
평탄이라는 게 이제 총알을 막아낸다는 의미잖아요. 총알처럼 쏟아지는 편견과 억압에서 이제 당당히 저희 세대의 생각과 가치를 지켜낸다. 그런 심오한 뜻이 담겨 있어요. 야, 좋다.
I'm finding how to love myself. You know, I didn't know anything about love myself, but you guys taught me through your eyes, through your love, through your tweets, through your letters, through everything. You guys taught me and inspired me how to love myself. And loving myself is my whole life goal until my death. And you know, what is loving myself? What is loving yourself? I don't know. Who can define their own method and the way of loving myself? It's our mission to define our way to love ourselves. It's never intended, but it feels like I'm using you guys to love myself. So I want to say one thing. Please use me.
please use BTS to love yourselves? Because you guys taught me how to love myself every day. Thank you so much. We love you guys. Turn it up.
It's wild. BTS really has an 8th member, Army.
I thought you was about to say you. I'm about to say, nigga, what?
I'm about to be like this.
Say again?
Nah, because it's like, however many guys we watch, however much information we get about them, however anything like we learn about them and stuff, it just seems like Army is always the focal point of anything. It seems like even, I'm not gonna say Western artists because I think we do that a little too much here too. Just most artists in general seem like they really only care about their brand, about kind of like, you know, money, just other factors outside of like their fan bases for real.
And I think that leads into my point, but I'll let you get off first.
It just seems wild that like everything they do literally feels like it's just for Army. It's just, you know, obviously, you know, key points of loving yourself and everything and stuff resonate almost with everybody, and they've been able to embody that and have feels like use Army as a love point the same way Army uses them as a love point. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Where it's just like kind of, I feel like they can take Army and use that as a focus for whatever they need to do. If they need to complete an album, if they need to stay up late to train, if they need to do anything, Army is that extra motivation for them to do anything that they want to do. And then Army just kind of sees that and it like gives you an affinity for the group even more. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. But that's just my biggest takeaway is it seems like every single video, Army is somewhere in that conversation for whatever they're talking about. And I love it to death. Because we always talk about all the other kind of fandoms that I've been accustomed to talking about for over the years and how strong some are. I've never seen the love both ways. Yeah. Because sometimes people have fandoms and like they talk about them, but mostly might use the fandom for negative connotations, like kind of maybe to bash things or to shut or cancel things down. For sure. And they just don't be on that type time at all. Mm-hmm. But go ahead, y'all can go off. That just was kind of what I took from the video.
I'll just drop my point because my food ready. But I see why they have haters, and why like the hate is.
I see why they have haters
on both fronts too. I see why they have haters in Korea. I see why they have haters in like America specifically. I won't just the Western market, but it's the American industry because let's be honest, you know. Excuse me.
People gonna hate shit they don't understand.
Huh?
So people hate shit they don't understand.
That and you, like I said, your point is a lot of artists, a lot of people don't think, oh, my fans. I want to say we just got to the point with social media where people like carve out their particular fan base and, you know, give them a certain name and, you know, everything like that, especially in the West. Like Michael Jackson's fan, the universe was his fans. You know what I'm saying? Outside. But he had haters too.
Yeah, some aliens in Mars probably.
Yeah, probably just got transmitted Billie Jean watching that shit now. But you know, so he
said, "Is this shit live?"
Yeah, exactly.
We thought we were listening to the Pootie Tang.
But nah, outside, so he's an anomaly in for that type of thing. But just in general, in the social media era, I feel like the phenomenon over here compared to them would have to be Drake.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still a little bit more ubiquitous, obviously, because he speaks English.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he goes out of his way to be ubiquitous and, you know, whatever. But people in the Western industry, particularly people who like don't want non-American acts to succeed or just look at them as competition. They don't even have to be a xenophobic thing or anything like that.
Gatekeepers or they
it could just be, yo, fuck them, because damn, another competition. First of all, we already have competition here. Now we gotta deal with motherfuckers from South Korea or, you know, from whatever like that, and they have a ravenous fan base, or beyond not even a ravenous fan base. They have an organized fan base. They have structured fan base, or everyone's focused. They have one singular goal.
Mm-hmm.
Spread the love, spread ARMY, spread BTS influence across the globe and everything like that. You can't beat that. So, and then obviously in South Korea, you have the rest of the K-pop world who, while some of the other groups are friends with them and everything like that, you still have the companies that's like, man, fuck this. I've been putting in work for, our company's been around for however long. We this company, that company.
We established our company in '93. Ain't no way no fucking small company is about to come in.
Yeah, now they usurp the big three, and now it's them. It's Hyde. It's a big hit. You know what I'm saying? Bang Shiuk, he's a billionaire now, 3 times over pretty much. The company's public. These guys are well known. They're bigger than almost everybody else in the industry combined. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Is that kind of thing. So I see why the hate is there, because I've already spoken on why the love is there. I got that now. Now I see where everything else comes in. Like I said, just seeing people talk through everything like that. The fan base, you see 27% of the fan base is what they say, 40 to 60.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
which already kills the you know,
the narrative that
the narrative 16-year-old girls running around. Yeah.
Now I will say it's definitely something you won't believe until you see it, until you get into it and everything like that. But I mean, that's just kind of how things are with people or whatever like that. You won't know nothing until you peel back or you won't understand something until you peel back the layers.
And even if 4 million physical copies sold is weird.
In this day and age.
Yeah. That
more so in this day and age.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah,
like, I think that's not no stream number counted or anything, just physical copies.
That's definitely crazy to really have that.
Most of them are like, I'm almost sure most of them are like vinyl sets.
Yeah.
And it wasn't on here. I remember the other one that when they was talking about like the numbers, they kind of was shitting on people, low key, because they was talking about basically how like some of these artists and shit attach certain things to
the merch.
Like,
bundles and everything.
Get a T-shirt and you get a CD. It's like you forcing a physical sell.
Nikki talked about this shit a few years back, and she got bashed for it.
Mm-hmm.
But
she actually was ahead of the curve with a lot of things. But
she said, yo, they selling this shit because they put merch on it. Like that's the only reason they're selling this stuff or whatever like that.
That's nothing new though. I mean, remember they used to do hidden tracks from other artists on
That's
CDs?
Different though. That's music.
Yeah,
that's giving me an extra song. Like,
but it's still not the reason why I'm buying the album. Like, I'm not buying the album necessarily for you, but I'm buying the album for somebody else's hidden track on your shit.
But they had stuff like you have a Japanese version of an album, Korean version. Like this is like Jay-Z albums had that.
Exactly.
Other people, you know what I'm saying? Rappers. It wasn't just limited to singers or global artists or anything like that. A lot of people had. Well, I guess that would make him a global artist, but whatever. You get what I'm saying.
You're sneaking a track in versus you thinking you just buying like a bundle of like a shirt or something and them throwing a CD in there to affect physical sales is just kind of just cheating.
That show you how crazy shit became changed since the 90s.
It's still number manipulation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's just you're manipulating numbers at that point where.
Because imagine if you don't even listen to that CD.
Yeah.
Imagine somebody bought a shirt like. I just need a shirt or something like that.
Yeah, well, it comes with the CD.
And you bought a fucking Beatles shirt, and it just happened to have like one of the albums stories. It was like, oh, the Beatles have sold another $10 million.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, I forgot what album it was. Girl's Best Friend was on somebody else's album other than Jay-Z's. as a hidden track, and it boosted up the sales for that album because people wanted that track because that was the only place other than
Rough Rider joint.
Might have been. No.
That's Jigga that nigga. You think my nigga, my nigga.
But Girl's Best Friend was on somebody's CD that wasn't Jay. It might have been Beans.
Rockefeller definitely sound like they do some shit like that.
But like that's essentially the same thing. I'm buying an album, but I'm not really buying it for the actual main artist. I want that track that I can only get from buying this album. You know what I mean? It's manipulation.
And trust me, business is business and shit. So sometimes I get where it's at, but for them to straight up like be selling CDs just straight up, and they not on the type time where like a couple artists you'll see like them push happen where it's like, yo, everyone go out there stream my shit right now, or yo, go hit the stores and shit like that. They do they press runs, but I've never seen them begging for nobody to do.
I think that's desperate, and it make me like, all right, nigga, if I like the fucking song I would have listened to it, or you know what I'm saying, if it go hard, it go hard. I'm not about to stream
like everybody stream it right now at 10 o'clock. Let's all stream it. It's just like
your man did that shit.
Jarek
man rather he
did it. Other people we bang with have been in that circle, and sometimes I get it.
His shit was like, yo, I can't believe Roddy Ricch is
he was doing it, and I didn't like it because of that situation with the Rowdy Ricch situation where it's like, he ain't do all that for it, and you is who you is. You don't have to do all that. Y'all make me not fuck with y'all by doing that.
I don't think the culture would be like allow them to say, "Hey, yo, stream it to so and so at a certain time." I think it's you either hit or you don't. I don't feel like it's one of those situations. And not just that, but like. I feel like they connected with somebody or with a group because they were completely honest with themselves from the beginning. There wasn't an act to put on from the beginning. It was really them all the time through every manifestation of the group. And it was always genuine. I know a while back I was kind of curious as to whether No More Dream was really them. Mm-hmm. But it might not have been all 7 of them, but it definitely was members of them. You know what I mean? Like, to a degree, that might have been how a good majority of them felt. I'm pretty sure other people had input.
They had input.
So, I mean, like, I definitely get it. I see how they climbed the ranks. But as far as like Americans gatekeeping, so being completely honest and this might be controversial, but it's almost parallel to how a certain group of people be like, we don't want these people over here, send them back over the wall because they're taking jobs away from real Americans or whatever. But you don't do what they do. So, oh yeah, they're taking our jobs. You're not mowing lawns or being a gardener. You're not doing that.
I don't like these couples.
No, but
because I don't think all Mexicans just do that.
I didn't even say that, but
it's the kind of like I feel like people were hitting at that.
Right, but this is the lead-in. So, you want to be mad that BTS is coming over here making sales, doing their type of music, but you don't do that. So, what difference does it make if they're over here doing it or not? Because no matter what they do, it's nothing that you do.
Not to mention, somebody selling don't stop you from selling. And especially in this day and age, the amount of consumption of content and music and everything like that, it doesn't stop anything.
But you know the American mentality. It's I can't eat while you eat, and you can't eat while I eat.
They got to update it. Now, if you want to say attention, that's one thing. But I feel like, think about this. How many shows we talk about, have you watched this? Are you caught up on this? And we talk about at a minimum 40 shows. Mm-hmm. A bunch of different shows. Not one. Me watching Ozark. Don't stop me from watching Euphoria. Don't stop me from watching Power. Don't stop me from watching. You know what I'm saying? Like anything like that. Just all types of shows. I always hated that now in this era. It's one thing if you was talking about when people had to go and buy CDs. Like, nigga, I only got $20. Mm-hmm. This CD $17.95. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I can't get this one, or, you know. I always hated that shit. So that's definitely a dated mentality.
But it's still the mentality, though, unfortunately.
Definitely.
And you see it a lot in and I hate to say it, but you see it a lot in the hood too. Like, I can't eat while he eating, which is why drug dealers fight over corners and they sell it. Now they're selling the same product.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're not even moving the same shit. But I can't sell because he here. Why? Y'all selling the same thing?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I think they're probably looking at it as maybe something way bigger than that, though. I think what we was talking about earlier, the whole, imagine the most poppin' studio executives, just having a conversation, and basically this might be a real conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine them having a conversation and they like, yo, we can't let a group like BTS be successful over here because then it starts a precedent for other groups to think that they can come here
the xenophobia
and be here.
thing.
So I don't almost think it's probably like a crab in a bucket mindset because that's not because I don't think that's what it is. I just think maybe they just like, we're not about to turn this into every nigga thinking they can come into this country and being able to set their flagpoles here and think you're gonna make money off the American soil and everything else when this is our territory. Which I don't agree with because it's just like
which ironically has already happened.
But that goes back to my point.
Talk about groups like the Beatles and all this other type shit or whatever.
Well, yeah,
everything like that.
They literally came over here and let people tell it. They changed music.
Mm-hmm.
They were the first pop group, or you know what I'm saying, depending on how you, like I said, who you ask. So,
but see, that goes back to my point.
Let certain people come.
You won't let certain people. You won't let people come over here and plant the flag. But are you providing anything that they do? Are you providing any alternative to what they're doing?
That's a partnership deal.
Ain't no partnership. He bought Ithaca. He bought Scooter Braun's company. So you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I mean by saying shit like that has been happening. Just like the car companies and these other companies or whatever like that, outsourcing and having other companies do the labor, Nike and all that shit like that. So it's really been happening, but I don't even want to get into that. Just to keep it on the music thing, the xenophobia is definitely there.
I don't even think it's other countries. I think it's just what the countries look like. Because One Direction had no problem coming over here.
Yeah, of course, but they also speak English. So the xenophobia is going to be less. Drake is Canadian.
I don't want to get too...
Drake is Canadian.
I think I already did that with
the know what I'm saying? So the xenophobia is definitely there because, like I said, it creates a whole new type of competition. And like I said, the industry right now, we're not what we were. The American music industry is not what it was in the 70s, 80s, or the heyday of the 90s and the early 2000s. It's not the same thing. Physical sales pretty much don't exist here unless you want to play a vinyl or whatever like that.
Unless you're a DJ.
And even then, it's still kind of like I could just download this shit and have a Serato or as a card or some shit like that. Too. So you bringing in a new medium now where, like we said, their visual is tied to the music. It's the same. You get it both. So they perform. Almost every artist performs outside of like the K hip hop and K R&B, and some of them dance too. So you know what I'm saying. You bring that to an industry where no one's really doing that shit no more. Right. Very little to nobody is doing that anymore. Only the people who are really doing that are like icons, like I said, or that's just their thing, and they made it through from another era.
It's probably bigger than that. So everything you said, plus, so you said it was visual, right? So if we have more artists that are visual, guess what has to come back? Music videos.
Yeah.
Channels that normally play music videos are making shitload of money by not playing music videos, by playing that reality TV because you don't need a script, you don't need to pay anybody other than, whatever, and they're pretty much just freestyling off whatever producer kind of pushes them and buttons to push. Like, it would almost have to be a reset.
I think people are just going to use other
platforms,
media platforms because that's already going on now. Even certain shit that was like reality TV is on Facebook, on IG, and other places that you kind of can stream. Even the music video, even the way music videos may be distributed might be different and shit. Imagine if YouTube partnered with IG and was able to put the videos just on there, and you can like and comment and do everything and joint, do all that stuff.
I don't doubt that, but I know certain companies want pieces. So in order for them to get back in, they would have to reconstruct what they currently have. So like if Viacom wanted back in, Viacom owns MTV. So we want to get back in. So what do we got to do? We got to take off some of this reality TV bullshit that we've been pushing.
I feel like that should probably I can't speak.
Right, exactly.
This is what happened with that. They're going to create an app. Viacom's going to create an app.
Do what everyone else got.
Yeah, that's literally it. Everything's going to be an app. The bubble's going to burst on apps, or it's going to have to go somewhere else, or some companies are going to merge together so you get a bundle of apps together. Stuff it'll go to things like that.
Can you imagine going on your phone and like voting on the app for TRL?
And then you know what that is? Is cable again.
Yeah.
You literally bought what bundle you with, what company you bought the bundle of, or whatever like that.
That's almost what people doing now though with streaming and shit.
Yeah, they figuring they're getting rid of cable, but
get
you're
Disney
not.
and shit, and they like it come with ESPN and Disney Plus, and you know what I mean. Whatever you like, oh, I get Hulu and all this too.
Well, that's
the
what
real
Hulu
shit
like all the
is. You
different
don't
channels.
need,
Or
you don't
what's the
even
other
need
one?
that to watch videos though. You can watch music videos on Apple Music for free. I've literally all BTS videos are on Apple Music.
All on Apple Music.
They're all on Tidal. So I don't even need YouTube to watch them. I just have a subscription and I can watch them. Although YouTube, you're watching it for free. But you know what I'm saying? It's that kind of thing. And so like the industry is going to have to, it always adapts and changes. There's always a catalyst and something comes on to change. Like I said, the 60s, the Beatles, 70s was the rock and punk scene and everything like that.
Jackson 5.
80s, yeah, Jackson 5 too. 80s, Michael Jackson himself.
And Prince.
Then hip hop, you know what I'm saying, and MTV, those four things really changed everything. The 90s was just, like I said, probably the golden era of everything going on, of the traditional music industry.
Gangsta rap.
And the new thing, yeah.
Which is crazy because it's years
everything.
before gangster rap and even have a show called MTV Raps. They wouldn't even play black videos on MTV.
Of course.
Michael
Jackson had
Michael Jackson strong on
he's strong
MTV
on
for a lot of shit.
So but like I said, it's nothing new over the sun. There's nothing new over the sun. Just look at BTS. It's like I said, what Michael Jackson did. Even though I feel it's xenophobia there, but I don't feel it's as strong as the 80s. But one, because you have international fans now, fans worldwide now, and I don't have to fucking watch your channel to see their content. I don't have to watch anyone's channel to see the content I want to see. Or I don't have to, go through too many hoops to really see what I want to see, unless something is on a different app or a different company and all that shit like that. But and you have a lot of people just like, you know what, fuck it, I just want to watch it.
Well, that's why you had a point last time with the whole probably us sometimes changing our wording. The whole breaking however we was wording it, like breaking the Western market or doing certain things, and you be like, motherfucker, if you got 4 or 5 #1 hit singles in American billboards, I think you cracked.
Yeah, you're here.
You're here.
The Western market is open. Having one hit here is already kind of hit the Western market.
Here. Multi, billion view videos and shit. You cracked it, and
especially compared to their peers.
Yeah, so it's to me, you almost can set up shop anywhere. Like they're so global. It's like I don't need to be in America to do anything because to be honest, if I'm selling on Wembley Stadium and everything else, this ain't all niggas from just here. Like you know what I mean?
They said 100,000 people.
I was about to say that people will travel to see.
This is a traveling act. Like people will travel to come see this. Shit. Yeah, like we'll travel to go see us. Yeah. But what I mean? This is a traveling act. So once people would come to you for the content. Y'all can just be like, you know what, we can be in South Korea for this year, don't have to quarantine or do anything, host 4 or 5 concerts at John at Hive,
do some online concerts,
cleaned up, do online, like the world is really their oyster and they can do what they want really at this point. But all that circles back to they love Army so much they're gonna travel and do and make things easier for Army and shit to see them. But yeah, the judge, we probably was running on tangents. Good tangents.
No, good.
Yeah. Did you have anything else you want to add?
I was just gonna say simply, but see, that's kind of the thing. They can do all that stuff without using those outlets, but those outlets are still gonna want parts of them. But they don't want to deal with them.
And they don't have to if they don't want to.
Right, they don't have to, but they want that money.
Yeah.
So they're going to do whatever they have to do, put on whatever mask or whatever face they got to do to try to get some of that money, but they don't necessarily like where the money's coming from. We kind of see it all the time, and I hate to say it, but it's an American thing. You know what I mean?
Very much so.
And it's so weird and tongue in cheek.
It's American in the American music industry thing. It's not
just in American, not just in music, because like, so we might have Indian actors. Like Bollywood is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
How come Bollywood never took off here like that? Because they don't want it to come in.
Now listen. Now see, this is where it gets iffy.
I think it's a sticky slope we got.
Yeah, it is. It is.
No. This is what I'm gonna say. Right. What is the
demand?
Yes. Where's the demand for it?
So
what if supply and demand?
Slumdog Millionaire is what, 13 years ago, 14 years ago?
And from what I've seen from them, that's the best thing I've seen personally from them. I haven't seen anything else.
So
it's
not all.
So about 6 months ago, what was your demand for BTS?
Huh?
6 months ago, what was your demand for BTS?
I didn't think of them.
Exactly. Because it wasn't presented to you. But once it's presented to you, you don't have an option to like it and want it.
This is where I go into the American side, the standpoint from here. We still are a country who has to sell products and make money. Our industry is one of the biggest in the world as well.
I get it.
It's a major export. So what you're talking about now is where I see some of the argument against it, where we could be like, yo, all right, nigga, it's one thing to let them come over here, but you're promoting it now, and you're promoting it taking away from all of this stuff like this, or you're putting it on prime outlets.
Yes
now,
or no? So
I think if it's even,
yeah,
go ahead, yeah,
I think your example ain't the same example just because the SK music market is maybe the 5th or 6th largest in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Bollywood is the 2nd largest film distributor outlet and everything. I think they passed China.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the Chinese like film circuit and everything when it comes like to filming. They have actors in Bollywood who crack the top 10 highest paid actors list and stuff. So they get the recognition they deserve over there and they get paid well for it. I get what you're saying as far as like, if you're not accustomed to the movies, maybe not so much you can't speak on it, but like it may be films there that need to be maybe showcased more or something like that. But they definitely get the love.
Taking Bollywood out, Korean movies have now been a big hit in America.
Yeah,
why?
Especially SK movies.
Because they're more accessible. You can go on Netflix and watch them. Squid Games, things like that have opened up the doors for things like that. And now that we see them, we want them. You were talking about 2 series you were watching before that you probably wouldn't even have known or heard about because they weren't presented to you as an option. That's what I mean. Like now the option.
Well, that's really streaming. That's really
I saw K-dramas.
But the thing about it
I
is,
saw BTS.
But the thing about it is, America will be like, no, we don't want that over here because it's taking opportunities. But you don't present what they present. You're not giving what they give. So like Bollywood, America doesn't do Bollywood type stuff. Like, when's the last time you seen a real musical or a series of musicals in America?
Story. I saw La La Land.
That's a remake, and we're not doing that.
But
that's one in how many years?
But we just talked about how the world, how America has changed,
and it was a big hit. So you can't say there was no demand for it. There was a great demand for it. That's another remake.
I don't think it was a demand for a musical. It was for La La Land. It just it came out and it was great. And I think that's the state of America, of American entertainment now. It's not really a demand for anything. What comes out and sticks, whatever comes out and
still
sticks,
a big hit.
Hits,
Chicago, big hit.
But I think musicals and everything, at least for us with film, only need to be out once every 2 years or once every 3 years. Because it's something that come out that are just shitty. We don't speak about. We don't talk about Cats or none of that type of.
Cats died before it ever was released.
I'm pretty sure somebody was like, I really want to see Cats in theaters.
Cats died with set shots, and people will still go to Broadway to watch that though.
And I think
still on Broadway.
And I think you're right, but I think you using the argument with film and music is a little bit tricky because. Film before, it's hard to distribute an Asian film here 10 years ago because it costs hundreds of millions of dollars just to get marketing, distributing, and everything into the United States.
People
now,
gotta get paid, everything like
I
that.
don't need to do all that. I can pay YouTube just to show my shit is on Netflix, and with streaming, everything is a lot easier than having to dump basically hundreds of millions of dollars into everything and stuff.
But isn't streaming the same for music though, to a degree?
Yes and no, and that's what I'm saying. Like movies have now caught up to where music was 15. Well, not 15, maybe, but in 2015. When did Apple Music and everything first? Like
2015 was the big streaming boom.
Stream boom.
Spotify was 2014.
And Spotify
Tidal came
and
out
things
in
before
spring,
that.
But even
15.
before then, music was an MP3 form and you could share it. So like we talking like 99, 2000.
But then music was harder to digest because you might have had to go to the radio to listen to hear what was hot or new.
Right.
Go to a website to see, like, download a mixtape, word of mouth, and everything else. Word of mouth now is just logging on Twitter, seeing what's trending. YouTube beat you over the head with shit to listen to.
Yes, they will. They'll
it's
actually
just,
put somebody's music video as a commercial on your video.
yeah, and then COVID ramped up everything. COVID was a blessing for particular industries. Movies and TV have been for years trying to get niggas not so much to stop coming to the theater, but just to be like, what can we do to give y'all more content?
Right.
When COVID hit, you had nothing to do but watch shit, and now at this point, the whole world can do everything virtual. You can have concerts virtual. Sorry, we're going on a tangent. You can have concerts going virtual and everything else going virtual. So the movie industry really pushed something that would have been maybe pushed away for 8 years and pushed that shit kind of right on us.
Right up to the
So
forefront.
like I said, I agree with your points and everything. I just feel like movies kind of just kind of happened like this. This same argument would have been different in 2018
Okay.
versus now. But yeah, I agree with what you mean. Anything else you want to
I'm
do? I'm
good.
so sorry.
Great argument. Good. I mean, not argument. Great debate, guys.
Yeah.
Discussion.
That's
That's
I
what
gotta watch some more Bollywood movies.
Now I'll be honest, I don't watch any of them, but
Niggas just want to argue.
no. But like you said, it's the second biggest market. So why is it invisible over here?
It's not invisible.
I don't think it's invisible,
because
though.
I think if you ask somebody, who watch Bollywood movies in Philly, and you like go on
Can
Reddit
you
and
name
stuff
two?
like that, huh?
Can you name two?
I'm not into it.
Exactly.
No, I've watched them though.
So,
I've had people show me them.
Like BTS,
I'm not into it.
You could probably name two songs, even if before we even had this, you knew what Dynamite was. You didn't know who it was, but you heard it.
That was Nas that heard it.
You never heard Dynamite?
I never heard Dynamite.
I find that hard to believe.
Baby,
but
I never
I'll go
heard
with
it. But yeah, what was I about to say? Damn, just like Chinese movies. One of my, I ain't gonna say it's favorite movies, but a good Chinese movie that I watched and I remember it all the time is called Beijing Bicycle. Great John. I watched that shit on my own. That made me go and look for other stuff. Of course, Kung Fu Hustle is one of my favorite comedies. That shit is hilarious. You know what I'm saying? I think I know the movie word for word, like dub, of course.
Shaolin Soccer is better, by the way. Go check that out.
Debatable. But you know that whole thing. So it's,
you know how you know those markets are sustainable and fine? You got Bollywood actors, Asian actors who never had to do an American debut in a film for anything and are multi-millionaires, cashed out and icons in their respective fields. Those people don't need America for anything, for no
And I
anything.
get that.
People literally just come here just because it's almost a flex almost.
Right.
It's almost just like, I made it in my market already. Let me go.
You come here and pop here, it's just, all right, now there's nothing left for me to prove.
And it wasn't that they need to come over here. My thing was, why don't we see it over here? Like, if it's that big, that huge, that profitable, why?
Because American individualism is pushed in America, and everyone has their own thing that they're focused on. I guarantee you, if I was to go down and talk to people from the South, or you know, in general, or like niggas I know, or whatever like that, just be talking about BTS. In fact, I did. They was like, nigga, what? You listen to what?
But how many people in America do though? So like, granted, there are going to be pockets where people don't, and that's cool. But it's still here, and there's still a lot of people who listen to it, and it's almost at this point inescapable, because even though they might not like it, they saw it on a Samsung commercial, or they heard it on the radio in passing, or it's on there, or it's in a movie. But like something like that, which is in what Korea's, you say, shit. So like BET might not be number one, maybe even number two as far as worldwide, but they're still here. Bollywood's number two in the world, and it's like invisible here. That like I feel like my point is like the gatekeeping is so real to agendas of what they want to push and what they don't want to push. That's why it's like that's why certain things that should be highly visible are completely invisible.
I think it is visible though.
You probably got to pull up the analytics just because it's like. Let's say something reached 1 billion views. Let's just say on YouTube to use for an example. It's clearly a big deal. Now, if you did the analytics and the analytics was telling you that like 33% of that billion view came from America, then you're like, cool, it's like a really, really super big deal. Now, if you did the analytics and it told you 5% came from here, 50% came from Asia, like the Asia market, which could be like, Russia or anything all in that continent, then you're like, cool, it's a big deal here. So I guess me personally, depending to back your argument, I probably would just want to see kind of like the analytics to some of that stuff because America definitely is a supply and demand situation. If niggas want something, someone here will find a way to supply whatever demand like niggas need. So if like, the Bollywood thing as far as like that example, if niggas was just like, yo, these 3 movies that came out fucking god tier amazing, they're gonna hit at some point somewhere. I'm sitting there watching a Raid, that shit is an Indonesian film. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And it hit us. It's going to sneak its way over to America and get legs and shit, and somebody is
the same way kung fu movies did. So
like Squid Game, you know what I mean? The way that hit America and shit, it wasn't
word of mouth.
And mind you, other things had came out prior to that were kind of the same. Alice in Borderland,
but that was Japanese though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like other Asian.
Yeah, but I figured that was the distinction as to why, or maybe it did or did not. No, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, like things. If something, and Alice in Borderland is good. If something is good and that shit hit, it's gonna catch on. Niggas are still dressing up like they in the Squid Game. like that shit just slapped, and that shit was understandable. But yeah, y'all love our tangents here.
Definitely a tangent.
Yeah. Anybody else? Anything else someone to add?
I'm good.
Like, comment, subscribe. Definitely subscribe. If you were still sitting here and you're not subscribed, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. Like this is pretty much what we do here. Join our Patreon for more conversations like this with exclusive and early content. We have live performances on there, Rise of Bang Tang, Run BTS, and a small little redemption army on there that discuss all BTS related material and have conversations that your typical reactors wouldn't even decide to have. But we different here. We're the best. We have the best Patreon. Love you guys. Border hey. I'll holler at you.